But now we're standing in front of the south face of Kangchenjunga. No cloud in between us. It's amazing.
And here it is getting more dark. I'm not sure.
There was a lot more snow. We don't actually know how to get back. So that was an almost 12-hour day. And it wasn't fun. Namaste, Tashilik, and welcome back to The Man Who Stare at Mountains and the third part of our video series on the Kangchenjunga Trek. In case you're wondering why it is so dark, that is because it's after sunset and we are still hiking. And if you want to know why that is, you will have to wait a few minutes while future me briefly explains what happened in the first two episodes. Despite we would, of course, still prefer you to actually watch them. And then I will explain to you, either in a few moments or tomorrow morning, why I'm not really in the mood for talking right now. Don't worry, I will very quickly bring you up to speed on how we got into this situation. 2 weeks ago, Chandi and I made the trip to the very northeastern corner of Nepal, using an airplane, a tuk-tuk, and multiple jeeps to do so. From Ranipul, at the end of the motorable dirt road, we started hiking towards Kangchenjunga, the third highest mountain in the world. Our goal was to see the mountain's north face from its base camp at Pangpema, and so we trekked through Gyabla, Gunsa, Kampachen and Lonak, past snowy forests, iconic peaks, frozen waterfalls, avalanches and glaciers. After a week of hiking, we finally arrived at the 5,200 meter high base camp and saw absolutely nothing. But at least we got caught in a blizzard on the way back. Having failed to see Kangchenjunga's north face, we went back down to Gunsa to regroup and decided to approach the mountain from the south instead. To do that, we left Gunsa towards the southeast, climbed up a ridge and spent the night at an altitude of 4,200 meters in a small tea house at Selele, Phedi. From there, we needed to cross a series of mountain passes, including Selele and 4,700 meter high Sinelapchela, to finally reach Tseram in the Simbuwa Kola Valley, which is supposed to lead us up to Kangchenjunga South Base Camp. But crossing these passes also didn't entirely go as planned. Yeah, no, it didn't go as planned, but it went pretty much as we feared. We set off at 7. Normally climbing Selele takes about 2 to 2.5 hours. We knew that there was snow on the way, so we thought we would take about 3. And that was almost correct. We arrived a little bit after 10. And then we rounded the hillside to the southeastern slope. Pretty much the whole day runs along a southeastern facing hillside. And we thought because it's southeastern facing and that is where the sun shines on, there would be less snow. That was very, very wrong. There was a lot more snow. Mostly it was between, I guess, 30 and 40 centimeters deep, but there were places where it was a meter and more. Instead of the usual 2 hours that it takes to reach the last pass from Selele, We estimated 3, but we needed more than 5. It was really just stumbling and tumbling through the snow. We couldn't get any pace, so we reached the last pass at about 3:30. So without the snow, I don't think the trail is any difficult at all. Also, the views are supposed to be sensational. We didn't have any of those. From about 9 a.m. on, we were in one and the same cloud until we went to bed. The bed was in Tseram. Tseram is a place with 3 or 4 small tea houses, and it's about 900 meters down from the last pass. And also half of that way was still in very deep snow. And we arrived at about 6:45. We had a 10-minute break on the second to last pass on Mirginla, so that was an almost 12-hour day. And it wasn't fun. We didn't have a chance to dry any of our clothes or boots or socks, but today in return will be a short day. We will hike up from Tseram to Ramche. This without snow takes about 3 hours. There is supposed to be a little bit of snow near Ramche, so maybe 3.5, worst case 4. We plan to have lunch there and then we stay there, and Ramche will then be our base for our hike to the South Base Camp, or also called Yalung Base Camp of Kangchenjunga, hopefully tomorrow, and hopefully we finally see that mountain. And now we need to pack, and then in a few minutes we will leave towards Ramche. Welcome to the bustling town of Ramche. It's not a bustling town. It's one very old building, one new looking building, at least from here, and one tent. That is Ramche. Ramche sits on a plateau, I would say. It's really flat as a fry pan up here, and we made it up to there in about 4 hours. We thought we would be quicker. There was a little bit of snow, but that shouldn't be an excuse. There wasn't much. Today I was just slow. Legs are heavy from yesterday. Yeah, we will arrive there at 1, and the mountains around are surprisingly clear. However, there is a cloud chasing us up the valley from the south. If this cloud during our lunch break doesn't get too close, we might try to bite the bullet and press on for the next 2 hours to Mount Kangchenjunga. If the cloud, however, gets us, we would do that tomorrow morning. But of course we don't know if it'll be clear then. Yeah, but lunch break first, otherwise we will never reach Kangchenjunga. Several decisions were made. The first decision was egg noodle soup, because that's the quickest dish our tea house owner could prepare for us. The second decision then was we would try and raise the cloud for Kangchenjunga, which is also, well, I'm a bit huffing and puffing right now because we're on the way to Tortong viewpoint. The third decision is not yet made. That's the one to turn back, because unfortunately the cloud beat us to Kangchenjunga. Do you think it makes sense to go on?
And here it is getting more dark. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and with that the third decision was also made. We lost the race against the cloud, and we are quite sure it won't clear up anymore today. This is why we are walking back. It was a long shot anyway. It's quite normal in the afternoon that the bigger mountains get shrouded in clouds. So if there is something positive we can take away from that, is that finally the weather starts behaving again in the normal patterns. That normal pattern would mean that tomorrow morning, early morning, would be clear, and of course we try again tomorrow morning. We didn't yet decide when exactly we will set off. The earlier the better our chances, and we're running out of chances. It might be 4, might be 4:30, maybe 5, but not later than that. And then we try to be up at Tortong viewpoint by sunrise. And now we're about 15 minutes away from Ramche. We will use the time to recharge our batteries, our camera's batteries. Maybe try to dry our socks and shoes. Yeah, and try to be as ready as possible tomorrow morning at, I don't know, maybe 4. Third highest mountain in the world, and the only 8,000er in Nepal I haven't seen, at least somewhat close up. And this mountain did pretty much everything to keep it that way. Even this morning, the alarm rang at 4:30. We started at 4:45. We woke up to a nice, fresh layer of powdery snow on the trail. Luckily, it wasn't too deep. Anyway, we set off in the dark. It took us a good 2 hours because the path wasn't always obvious with the snow. And now we finally reached Tortong viewpoint near the South Base Camp of Kangchenjunga. The last 2 weeks were really tough. Sometimes almost a little bit too tough. But now we're standing in front of the south face of Kangchenjunga. No cloud in between us. It's amazing. Tortong, what a place. Fantastic, absolutely brilliant. In the end we even saw the first sun rays coming in and hitting Kangchenjunga. Absolutely magical. We spent a good half an hour staring at the mountain and now we're on our way back. I'm really happy we started that early because already the first clouds are pressing up the valley again. For a change, we were quite lucky up there. Now, for the trail. The way up without snow wouldn't even take 2 hours, I guess. There are two mildly rocky bits, one pretty much in the middle and one in the end when you have to climb up the glacier moraine. But both are nothing special. The whole trail is really very easy. Downwards, I don't think we will take much more than an hour. Now, once we reach Ramche, we will have a short breakfast there, pack our bags and head down to Tseram. Probably have a quick lunch there, and then if we still have time, and I hope we still have time, make our way all the way down to the village of Torongden. We don't have to reach Torongden today, but it would be quite nice because we don't actually know how to get back, to be completely honest with you. There are minimum two options, and both of them split in Torongden. So the traditional route would be from Torongden to go even further south, cross a quite high pass, which means go back up to 3,500 meters again, down on the other side, and then go to the two villages of Sherpagaon and Yamfodin. This is the traditional way. This trail works and is proven, and Chandi has done it before, but it takes a while. And after all the cold and the snow, getting out of here sooner rather than later sounds good to me. Now there is also a newish trail we could take from Torongden to the southwest. It's supposed to be a whole day thing through a jungle canyon. Chandi has not taken this way, but it would save us a day. So we're not sure what to do. Well, next we have breakfast. We're sure we're doing that. We left Ramche at about 9, reached Tseram at about 11:30, left it again after lunch at about 12, and now we're looking at about 4 hours down to Tortong or Torongden, same place. While the trail from Ramche to Tseram was above the river, well, first above the glacier and then above the river for most of the time, this trail here down to Tortong is pretty much at the river, so that is nice. Really good views. Also a really lovely forest, rhododendrons, larch, hemlocks. It's really nice. We just left Tortong at about 7:15, and 10 minutes after you leave the village you will come to a suspension bridge crossing the river. That's why I have to speak a little bit louder. I hope you can still understand me. Right after this bridge there is a fork. The way straight up the hill is the traditional way out of this valley. Up a steep pass down the other side to the villages of Sherpagaon and Yamfudin. Chandi knows this trail, has done it multiple times, but we will take the other one. We will go down to the right into a deep forest canyon that is supposed to bring us back to the Tamu River. Oh boy, what a decision that was. So first of all, the canyon and the forest are amazing. Starts with alpine forest like we had the day before, and then slowly morphs into bamboo groves. Really nice. Spotted with red rhododendron. Very nice scenery. So if you like forests, that is the right option for you. If you like Nepali flat, that is also very much the right option for you. Because, let me describe the trail. First, it clings to the south shore of the river and stays fairly leveled with the river. Doesn't climb too much up or down. There are a couple of short landslides that make the path slippery and narrow, but nothing dangerous, nothing too difficult. Then you cross the river, go back to the north shore again, and this is where the trouble starts. The path climbs really steeply up the hillside, and then what you get is Nepali flat for connoisseurs. Extremely steep, very often up and down, also very high up and very far down. And can you guess when too much Nepali flat and rock scrambling and boulder hopping are extra annoying? Exactly when your boot is broken. Would you believe it? After 10 years and a dozen plus treks in Nepal, my right boot decided that this day will be his last day on the trek, and it's completely dissolving. It's just hanging on by 2 cable ties that I happen to have with me. So we were told by the locals that to reach the town of Yasang we would need about 5 hours. Turned out we needed about 7. After 6 hours though, you cross back to the south side of the river, and there, like a mirage out of nowhere, are 2 lodges. Both look quite okay. The second one is a bit newer, but doesn't matter. And the lodge owner of the first lodge was able to reserve a jeep for us. Pickup point was to be 4 p.m. at 0 point. 0 point, we learned, is where the roadhead is currently, so where the road construction stops at the moment. And that was supposed to be 1 hour below Yasang. So we had a quick lunch stop and then set off. We needed 1 hour to finally reach Yasang, which is a very small traditional village. And now we're on the way to 0 point and try to catch our jeep. There's a road over there.
It looks the road, yeah. You made it, right?
And that is how we found our jeep at shortly after 4 p.m. at point 0 on our last day of trekking. Now the jeep ride to Toplejung took about 3.5 hours, so we arrived in the dark. In the next day we took a jeep taxi to a place called Kanyam. It's actually a very, very famous tea garden in Nepal. That took us about 7 to 8 hours. And then on the third day of jeep riding, we took another one to Charali, which is near Birtamot, near Bhadrapur airport in the Terai. That was another good hour. And from there we had to take Tuktuk to take us to the airport in Bhadrapur. That was another like 25 minutes. And then after waiting at the airport for a while, we took the 40-minute flight to Kathmandu. For you, it didn't take that long. For you, it took no time at all to join me here in Kathmandu. Now, one idea regarding what you could do with the time is you could consider subscribing to our channel. That would be really, really nice of you. And also press the bell icon maybe. Or leave a thumbs up if you liked the video so far. Now, concerning this video, if you know our trekking videos, and chances are you do because we have a lot of them on our channel already, you know that at the end of the trekking video, we usually have a summary describing a rough itinerary of each trek to you, discussing everything you need to know from guides to permits to how to get to the area, how to get back, and so on and so on, and then comparing the trek to other ones you might be interested in doing. Now, with this big Kangchenjunga trek, we didn't only do one trek, we actually did 3. So first, we went to the Kangchenjunga South Base Camp through Gunsa Valley. In this video, you watched us visiting the South Base Camp in Tortong as well. And we connected the both by crossing Selele and therefore pretty much doing a Kangchenjunga circuit. Now, with having done pretty much 3 different treks, I feel we wouldn't do them enough justice if we would only have one summary for all of the 3 together. So I decided to make a separate guide video for everything you need to know about each of the 3 Kangchenjunga treks. From how long they take, a sample itinerary, how to get there by jeep and by flight, whether you need a guide or not, what kind of permits you need, how expensive they are. And then, of course, we will compare each of those 3 treks to the other treks on our channel so that you get a better feeling about if you want to do them or not. To make sure you don't miss this guide video, again, please consider subscribing to our channel. And then I will see you in that guide video. Thank you very, very much for watching.